For that, I'm going to use the trading economics to see the fundamental data. But from now onwards, we are not going to discuss today's data only. We'll discuss that what we have discussed in our previous session and how the market have reacted, what are our projections which we have predicted in our previous sessions. We'll discuss that. Then we move on to the news section. So, because a lot of people have asked that what are the good sources to identify the important or potential news. So, I would just want to give you an insight that how we use different sources to identify the newses and all, right? So, and how I understand the news. So, we do it in a very fast manner. Then we'll discuss the current market formations, right? Try to understand it. And according to that formations which are right now under development, what kind of trading opportunity we are getting and what is the right way to trade those trading opportunity. We'll discuss each and everything in great detail. Okay. So let's start. I think my voice is audible to everyone. So we'll start. Great. Thank you guys. So whenever I ask any questions and I want to make this session to be very interactive, so whenever I ask anything from your side that whether my visuals are correct or not, just give me a thumbs up because I've been too much busy on analyzing the charts and also, but your thumbs up or any kind of signals from your side give me the confirmation that everything is running smooth. So without wasting time, let me share you my screen. In this screen, as we have discussed, we are going to discuss the economic calendar. I hope you guys have access to my screen, right? Okay, great. So, if I talk about the yesterday datas and events, so I have told all of you guys that this new sales data is very important, and we have discussed a lot of things around the core inflation data, right? Which is previously the reading was 2.6%, and surprisingly, in core inflation is at 2.6% when a lot of things are happening. Then too, there is no impact on the inflation. Although, if I ask myself, right, ask my conscious, so I'm not that much sure that this data is how much authentic, right? But yes, it is very surprising that inflation data, CPI data, all are very balanced, right? And then we have discussed a lot of thing about the building permits data, and I've told you that building permits or the new home sales data, all the housing data are kind of a leading indicator, right? And surprisingly, here also I've seen the balance, right? Only there is one difference that is on the new home sales month on month. So previously it was 11.3%, right? But this is the reading for the September month. We have seen a downfall in this, right? That means the sales are going down. That means maybe there are a lot of new units available, but sales are not doing good. So it is giving me a very different kind of picture. That means people are not investing into the real estate market. Okay. And if real estate is going down, the majority of industries which are indirectly or directly connected to real estate also going to face the same challenge. So these are the things which we have discussed. And in the last, the most important data, right now, all the major geopolitical events, right, are happening around this, which is the 30-year bond auction. I've told you that on a longer period of time, if people believe that yes, US economy is going to perform very good, they are going to invest into it, right? And to attract capital for a very longer period of time because the maturity date will come after 30 years. That means in 2056, right? So for that, they have increased the interest rate, right? Previously, it was 4.77. Now it is 4.825%. Right now, the second thing, just by looking at this data, you need to check that how much money have been came into the US economy. So for that, we need to see the tick data, right? So, but they will update this information that how many people have bought this bond and which countries have bought this bond. So we need to understand. But let me give you the spoiler that all the major US allies are continuously buying this bond to support the US economy because whatever turbulence which are going on, they need to support. So they are pumping their reserves into this bond market for a very longer period of time, right? Because if I talk about the other group, so like China, Russia, including India, they are selling the old bonds, right? That means they are liquidating the old bonds which they are holding right now, right? So these are the things which we have discussed yesterday. In the last, if I talk, so this is the monthly budget statement for the US, and I've told you that they are in a deficit budget. So although the previous deficit is very high, and all of a sudden the deficit is improving, right? And there is only one reason. That means government is spending less, right? Or we can say that government revenue is way are increasing as compared to what they are spending, right? Now they have resources of Venezuelan oil also. And one more important news is coming that almost 300 tons of gold have been uh, secretly transferred to China, right? So, and Trump called it a strategic crisis, right? So, this is also very important news which is coming. Now, let's talk about today's data. So, I'm discounting the Korean data, but yes, we need to see the Fed barking speech. And the good thing is that the interpretation of this speech in a very greater detail will be given in our today's BMN research report, right? Then we have the API crude oil stock change, right? So previously it was in negative and right now it is in positive. That is 5.27 million barrels they are holding, right? And we all know because right now they have a control over the market. They have the Venezuelan oil and they have their oil also. And apart from that, who are the other competitors who can supply this crude oil? So those are Iran. Right now they are facing turbulence. So they are creating a kind of monopoly, right? And they are putting sanctions on biggest importers of crude oil, that is China, India, right? Not to buy the Russian oil, but India needs oil, right? So who is going to sell them that oil? US. And from there, they are going to get more revenue, right? So all this are politics, right? All this are business. Moving ahead, so this is the data which is from the Australian. So we are discussing the data which have been already been released and whatever price action we have seen in the Asian session. The reason for that is this event, right? So try to understand it and then we'll discuss the upcoming data. So then we have the Australia building permits data, right? Which is increasing. That means Australian economy is doing very good. And why it is doing good? Because people have more money, more surplus money with them. That's the reason we have seen that the Australian government is giving permits to the builders to build more houses or more units, right? And why is it so? Because right now they are exporting heavy to China and other countries, and they are right now supplying gold, they are supplying other earth metals, right, like bauxite and other important metals also. So right now they are doing business and soon they are going to get more liquidity into it and they'll convert it into the real estate or develop the infrastructure in their country. So this is a very good sign, and whatever we have discussed in our previous sessions, that yes, a majority of country, including the China, are accumulating those resources, whether we talk about silver, gold, bauxite, right? Aluminium. And, and Australia is the one of the biggest exporter of all this, right? And just after the this data release, we have the Chinese data. And in today's scenario, the emphasis which you give on the US data, the same emphasis you have to give on the Chinese data, right? Now the power is being there is a major power shift is happening, and every finger is pointing toward the China, right? So we need to understand it, right? That what is the biggest world's biggest factory is doing. So the balance of trade is in profit. That means they are in surplus. They are exporting very good. And now let's have a look on the exports. So from 5.9% to 6.6%, they are, and this is a year-on-year speed, right? So they have increased their exports, right? And we have seen a very tremendous increase in imports. So whatever story I'm telling, it is telling me that it is not a story, it is a reality, right? So what China imports? Crude oil, right? They buy crude oil, they buy bauxite from Australia, they buy gold and silver from Switzerland, South Africa, right? So that means they have increased their imports. Previously, it was 1.9%, and right now it is 5.7%, right? So still, if I talk about the market, the metal section, whether it's precious metals or base metals, are the leader of the market right now, and we have to keep an eye on it, right? Moving ahead, then we have the 5 year Japanese government bond auction, same like the US bond. This is also 5 year bond. It's a long-term bond. Here also they have increased the interest rate, right? That means they also require the money, and we have discussed that if Japanese yen went above the 160 or 170 level, then government have to intervene into the market and they have to deplete their reserves to intervene into the market and stabilize their currency, right? If this happens, and for that they require liquidity, they need money. So, and how they increase this money or how they accumulate this money through this bond auctions. These are called the treasury operations, right? So this is very important. Moving ahead, so we've been waiting for the WPI data. So in India, they use the wholesale price index, right? And other nations we use the CPI, which is the consumer price index. So the different kinds of ways to calculate the inflation. So here we use the wholesale price index, right? So we've been waiting, and yes, because India is also a very big consumer market, so their inflation data will have a little bit impact, especially on precious metals. So we need to discuss. Then important news speech is coming from the Bank of England. So we need to give focus because right now UK is the biggest buyer of bonds which are coming from China. So we need to see this also. And there right now there is turbulence going on between the US and UK on Greenland, right? So this speech is very important. And just after that, we have the ECB second in command speech. So we need to focus on this also. But don't worry, when this speech are happening, we are taking the notes and we'll give you the interpretation of this into our today's research report. Then we have the treasury gilt auction, same like the bonds. With in UK they called it gilt, so we need to have a focus on this. And same goes with the Germany. We have the 30-year bond auctions, right? Moving ahead towards the US. So for today, the most important data which we have is the PPI. So we need to see this, that on a consumer level, we have understand the inflation. Now let's understand the inflation and the producer level, right? If there is inflation, that means raw materials are costlier. So we at least we understand the reason, that what is the reason why there is inflation or why there inflation is rising. And although the CPI data have told us that everything is normal, so the same thing have been uh, coming out from PPI data also. Previously, it was 0.3%. It should be near 0.3% only. If there is a surprise, that means there is an anomaly. Things are not matching, then market is going to get react, right? So we need to see that. So all these are the data, and same goes with the retail sales data, right? If inflation is normal, retail sales would be also normal. If retail sales are spiking, then also it is an alarming sign. So we'll see that then. After that, we have a lot of speeches, and in the last, we have the crude oil inventory data, which already we have discussed that we have the API data and we know the geopolitics that what exactly is happening. And in the last, the most important speech for today from my side is the Fed Bostic speech, right? This is the most important speech because we need to understand, because right now in the US Senate they have passed an emergency bill to surpass the presidential power in case of emergency, right? So we need to understand that how the Fed is reacting on the US Senate decisions, right? So this will be very important data. So that's all from my side for today's data, right? And in the midnight, we have the data which are coming from the China, which is related to the M2 money supply. So we need to give focus on this also, right? So it will tell us that how much liquidity they are pumping into the market, right? And if there is more liquidity pumping, the demand for gold and silver is going to rise in China. And as a result, the prices of gold and silver is going to get spiked, right? So we need to have a focus on this. So these are the all the important data events which we need to see. And in the same website on trading economics, we have a section called news. You just need to click this news button and the latest news will be opened, right? Now, these are all the news, but here we need to see the economic section, the economics news, right, which are coming. So, China 10-year yield, so, and it's 109 minutes ago, that means almost 2 hours, right? So, you need to focus on this news. This news is important. The China import growth, which we have already discussed, right? But if you want to understand in detail, you can have the news from here, right? This is important news. World Bank expects 226 global GDP growth at 2.6%. If this is the case, there will be no war, right? If economy is going to get improved, and it is a very bad news for gold and silver, precious metals, right? Because if stock market or indices are going to perform well, why to invest in a asset which is not giving me any yield? Instead, I'll so the risk on sentiment is going to get off, and the risk of sentiment is going to get activated. That means all the riskier assets like stocks, right, shares, indices, people tend to invest in the riskier assets. This is one platform which you can use, and the second is the investing.com. Why investing.com? Because investing.com will give you news from all the different sources, right? Like Thomas Reuters, Bloomberg, Financial Times, so Business Standard. So these are the very genuine source of information after the official websites. Like if you have seen any data or any news related to Fed or US Senate, you should visit their official website and try to match that whatever the news are coming, whether it is matching with them or not, right? After that, you should visit the exchange website. If you're trading into metals, go to Chicago Mercantile Exchange website, then go to London Metal Association's LME website, right? Over there, you'll get very good data, right? Very authentic data. So this is the way which you can use for news and all, right? So I just click on the news, right? And I'm getting all the news, right? And here you need to select your country or select that country in which you trade the most, right? Suppose everybody, majority of us have our account in USD. So whenever you are trading into the market, always remember that if you're buying GBP JPY, you're not only trading into GBP JPY. It's a triangular relationship, right? You are selling your USD, then buying the GBP and selling the JPY, right? So every time whenever you initiate a trade, you create demand and supply for dollars, and that is the reason dollar is the most heaviest trading currency. This is the reason, right? So whatever is your base currency, you need to do your analysis of your base currency, that whether it is the right time to sell dollars or not, right? Suppose you have $10,000 into your account and GBP is getting stronger against the USD. That means if you're not buying GBP, that means your dollar power, which you're holding into your account, is going to get lesser, right? Instead, if you convert that dollar into GBP or any other rising assets, so your account balance is going to get increased. This is the mentality which you have to keep into your mind. Every time when you trade into the market, focus that this you are holding a portfolio of $10,000. Now you need to decide in which currency or in which asset you need to convert that dollar so your account size will grow. So if GBP is getting stronger against the dollar, you should convert your dollar into the GBP, right? And this is called portfolio management. Lot of people say portfolio management, portfolio no. They called portfolio segmentation. That means deciding how much to invest in which sector. This is different. This is very different, which I am discussing. Here, portfolio means you have a portfolio of $10,000. Now you have to invest that $10,000 in a rising markets. So your account should grow. You have dollar, you have converted into GBP because you have taken a GBP USD buy call. Now GBP is going up, your account balance is going up. Same is the case with gold. If gold is rising, dollar is getting weaker, and you have converted a little chunk of it by using the leverage, right? The best part is using the leverage. So let's discuss this area. So this is the resistance which I'm discussing, right? And right now prices are hovering around this area, and this area, to be very precise number if I get. So this is the 4628 and the 4640, right? And if prices give me a close above the high of this area or clear this area, then my next longer term target or the next all-time high will be at around 4750. So I'll be waiting for that if this happens. If I find a rejection from here, so the probability is high that gold is going to trade in a ascending range, right? Ascending channel, and that channel will look like this. Let me draw the channel over here, right? So I'll taking this point, focus on this red lines right over here. This. So this is the channel on which gold may trade in the future. Right? This is the channel, right? So this is a ascending channel. The touch have been done, right? We need clarity for the upside. That clarity will come just after the close, right? And if there is a rejection in the prices, yes, I'll take a short-term sell call that in an expectation that prices will come down and test this area, right? And over here, I have my moving averages band also, so prices tend to reverse towards this mean. So I'll take this corrective measure, but whatever sell which we are expecting, if this happens, it is not going to sustain for a very longer period of time. It's a short-term trade, right? That means an intraday basis trade, and this can happen today or tomorrow, right? So this 2 days we may see selling, right? If data surprises or some events are happening which are telling that yes, peas are right now everywhere in the world, then this is going to happen. Or there will be a short-term correction for the downside. But after this correction is done, and if prices are getting rebounds from the upside, that is the point to take new buy calls from here, right? For the target of the next all-time high. So this is for the gold. Now let's have a microscopic look on a 15-minute time frame, right? So over here, I am using the RSI and the ATR value of 9 to identify the stop loss or the target. So for that, I use the ATR value over here. Now, let's have a look on the RSI, which is of 5 period on the basis of median price, that is the high low divided by 2. Right, so I have a lower point, prices went up, then again prices are going down. So here, this kind of situation, there is probability that prices may create a divergence. And what kind of divergence we can expect over here? That we have already have a low. Prices will come down below the low of this candle, but RSI failed to go below the low of this candle, and we have a bullish divergence. And then again, we have an impulsive movement for the upside, right? And if that upside is not going to sustain for a very longer period of time, because we are discussing everything on a 15-minute time frame. So if one candle made and another candle size is very small and they are taking a U-turn, that means this divergence is going to get fail, and prices may fall below to the level of the channel which we have drawn, right? Over here, if I identify a microstructure, so this is a small shoulder, this is the head, and this is the neck shoulder, right? And this is the neckline area, same which we have seen yesterday. Same kind of pattern I can identify in a 15-minute time frame, right? So I need a close below this neckline area. If this happens, and if this happens, and if there is a divergence, right? So once the divergence reaction is done, that means what kind of pattern I can expect over here, that price, one candle give me a close over here, right? Then next candle all of a sudden went up like this. like this over here, right? Then I have a next candle which failed to go above the high of this candle, and I have a very small candle over here. And from here, again, the prices will go down, right? To clear the stop losses which are resting below the low of this area, right? So probability of happening this kind of thing is very promising, right? So this is one scenario. Next scenario is that prices tend to go below the low, but fail to give me a close above the low of this candle. And all of a sudden, on this divergence, I find a candle which is very strong, right? And the next candle which successfully give me a close above the high of this candle. So it is an indication that this pattern have been failed, right? It is a trap, and all the liquidity which are resting above the high, right, is going to get wiped out, right? So this is silver on a 15-minute time frame. Now let's have a look on gold. So this is 15 minute, and same kind of pattern we can identify over here, right? So this is the neckline, right? This is the shoulder, this is the head, and again, right now it is going downward. So, and if we see the RSI, so same RSI of 5 period I've used over here. Yes, the probability is very high that prices may tend to go up, go down below the low of this candle, but RSI failed to give me a lower low formation. So there will be a divergence, right? This can be also happen, and this can be also done that in the next candle, in the very next candle, we will see a very sudden fall in the prices, right? Very deep fall, but prices failed to breach the low of this candle. Then also this is a divergence, right? So we need to focus. And the next thing which we can expect that over here we have the high. This is the next high, right? If prices went up from here, but failed to go above the high of this candle and RSI went above, then also this is a hidden bullish divergence, right? So we need to wait for the breakout of this. Although by mistake I have discussed the gold thing on a silver, but on silver I can identify a very good thing, right? But it is for a very shorter period of time. Now moving ahead to the US oil. So yesterday we've been discussing and we have identified this microstructure that yes, prices went up and then taken a correction, and we have drawn this Fibonacci, right, just to have an understanding that how much correction it can take. And I've given the projection that if prices successfully give me the close below the golden ratio of 61.8 and 75.5, then I think of taking a sale. And what happens? All of a sudden there is a surge in the prices and prices went up, right? And once they have given me this impulsive movement, all the next candle have failed to give me a close above the high of this candle, right? So this candle will act as a climax candle. That means whatever trend which we have identified is getting weaker, right? Now let's have a look on the volume. So this candle is having the highest volume. After that, volume is depleting, right? And right now we have used the alligator indicator. Prices are in the mouth of the alligator, and the candle size is too small. But yes, if this candle give me a close below this red moving averages, which call the teeth of the alligator, then we may expect selling into the US oil, right? So we have discussed this thing on a H1 time frame. If I have a look on the RSI also, so RSI is also going downwards, right? So this is one thing. Now let's have a look on the US 30. So we have discussed that this is a very important area. We need clarity, and we have given this pattern formation, and we have given the projection that the probability of prices going down is very high, right? And we have given the expectation that prices will come down and test this trend line, right? But instead of testing this, because we have identified a pattern, right? This is called the ascending triangle formations, right? So this is the resistance, and this is the trend line, right? And we have given the projection. So prices have fall down, taken the correction, and again they are moving downwards, right? Now, how much we can expect for the downside? So this over here we have the fair value gap, and here we have the order block. So the probability that prices will come down to this level is very high, which is at near at 48799, right? Is very high. Yes, before going down, it may take a correction uh, just in between these bands area of alligator, and then we can expect a fall in the prices. If this happens after the US session, then it is very good. And every time on the 30th and the 40th candle, we see this kind of volatile movement. See over here, this is 1314, right? This is also 1314. This is also 1314. So this is also 1314. That means what it is telling me, that I have two trends into the market if I'm trading indices. One, start from first candle, and it is going to prevail till 30th candle, and 30th candle is the candle you should book your profit. Then wait for the market to react, because this is the time when major data from the US is going to get released, right? Just once this is done, then you should take your decisions, let the market react, and then take. So on the 14th candle, I've seen a very impulsive move, right? Then I've taken the buy call for the upside. It's very good. On the 14th candle, I've seen a reversal in the prices or the exhaustion on the 13th candle. From the low, I can take the sale call, right? So over here also, till the time it is in sale, on the 13th candle, high probability that we see a spike. And on the 14th candle, again, the prices will go down. So you should wait for the prices to come up to this level. If there is exhaustion, then take a sell call. Okay. Although they have given the divergence, but I am very much sure that this divergence is not going to get work, right? Because this close have renewed this low, right? So the probability of prices going down is very high, and taking this low is very high, right? So this whole area will act as a reversal area, right? So I think of taking a buy in US 30 from this area, right? If I'm getting a rebound. Till the time I'm waiting for the prices to give me a corrective move for the upside, and when it is done, then I'll take a sell call. Then now let's have a look on the Euro. So on the Euro USD also, we have 4 time frame, right? Prices went down, taken the correction, and we have given the projection that probability of prices going up is very high, right? By looking at the technical thing, right? Because it have failed to test this trend line, right? And whenever this kind of gap happens between the trend line, the next move is going to be very strong. That move is going to break this trend line, right? But in for this, you should draw the trend line very perfectly. So they have missed it. That means they have tested how strong this resistance is, this trend line resistance is. Now they are getting that, collecting that energy, and once that is done, we can see a sudden spike in the prices for the upside, right? That is the probability. Or you can use the Fibonacci over here, right? And you can see that this correction will be this kind of exhaustion which we are seeing right now is happening at the exact level of 61.8 and 75.5. So you need to have in focus. And if you're getting a reversal for the upside, so I need a one green candle which successfully gave me the close over the red candle, then it's a confirmation. Yes, the probability of a impulsive move for the upside is very high. I take a buy call, but I place my stop loss below the low of this candle, right? And if from here itself the green size candle is not that much strong, that means whatever, for the reason for which they are getting the energy, they are not getting that much energy for the upside, and then in that case prices may tend to go downwards, right? Now let's have a look on a daily time frame also, so it will be more clear. See, a downfall movement, and if I draw the support which now act as a resistance, so this is the area, prices went up. Now below this, heavy selling is expected, and if prices went up and closes above the high, then euro is going to get stronger, right? And the probability for the upside is very high, but this kind of pattern is called Quasimodo pattern, right? So we have the shoulder, we have the head, and instead of making the next head, prices went down below the neckline, and then again taken a correction up to the trend line, and then they are going to get fall, right? So if prices, we are expecting prices to go up on a daily time frame, so whatever we have discussed on a H4 time frame, that prices might give us a very good impulsive movement for the upside is very high. So let's see, let's watch. So I've given you on a smaller time frame, yes, you can take a upside movement, right? But yes, you should know that we need a confirmation on a H4, right, over here. So yes, this is the area for which we need a close. And on the H1, if I see, so this is the last selling candle, right? And this is the high, which is 1.1654. Now let's have a look over here. If I take a buy, so 1.1654 is here. So if you want to take a call of 10 or 15 or 20 points, you can take by keeping your stop losses very short. Yes, you can take it. Now, let's have a look on the BTC. So all of a sudden, BTC have given us a spike yesterday, right? And in the Asian session, we have seen the spike, very strong spike, and now prices have came down, right? And tapped the gap up area, right? That means they have covered the gap. Still, few gap are remaining, so we can expect the price movement to go down. Right now, it is in a corrective phase. It will take a correction and then again it will go down. And after that, if prices get a reversal, it's a good time to take the buy call because still the Bitcoin is undervalued because according to the current energy crisis, miners to be profitable, they need Bitcoin to be very expensive. Then whatever rewards which they are getting, then they will be in profit, right? And then important that we have the Clarity Act. Those who don't know, the Clarity Act as a bill which is going to give the legal framework to crypto in US. And although yesterday we have made the video on it also that they have paused this thing, right? But if they do so, all this thing will get a regulatory framework, right? And Bitcoin and other cryptos are going to get linked with the ETF, and lot of money flow is coming into the picture, and the demand for cryptocurrency is going to get rise, right? So this we have discussed on a 15-minute time frame. Now let's have a look on the H1 time frame. So this is the last impulsive move. Prices have taken the correction, and almost all the gap have been covered. If I see the H1 chart, now if I'm getting the impulsive move for the upside, yes, so then it is good that prices went up, went down, right? Now what they will do, they will try to make, if they want to go down, they will go up and then make a lower low formation. So from here on H1 time frame, we can expect a price movement for the upside that will be around this area, right? Which is 9550, right? And right now it is trading at 9480. So almost 600, 700 points of movement you can grab for the upside. And from this area, if you find a reversal towards the downside, taking sell call will be very good because yes, probability that it may correct more downwards, right? And take a sell call. So right now, take a buy call. If you see weakness around this area, exit from your buy call. And then if prices are getting exhausted, that means bulls are getting exhausted at this level, you should take a sell call for the downside, keeping your stop losses over the high. So that's all for my side. We have discussed the US 30 also, US oil also. We have discussed one currency. We have discussed silver. We have discussed gold. So thank you all for attending these sessions. If anybody is having any questions, they can type their questions into the chat box, right? Because we are short of time, so we are closing this session. I hope you have enjoyed today's sessions and gained a lot of insights for which me and my team have worked very hard to make it very digestible to you so that you can digest it and take your trading decisions on a very timely manner. So that's all for my side. Thank you all. This side, Anurag, sign off for today's sessions. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time and we'll discuss more opportunity and more insights and knowledge related to the market, which will give you a breakthrough in your trading journey. So thank you all. Have a great trading day ahead. Thank you guys.